Good morning, people. This is Blanche Eden, your host for Black Trending News Podcast. This is episode 12, and today we're going to be talking about a really serious topic. I'm going to try not to get, how I can get beastly. I'm going to try not to get beastly today. I'm going to try to be sensitive and calm. But this is a very, this is a topic that gets talked about a lot, but to me, not enough. To me, I think more people are concerned with, celebrities than they are their children and their young girls and what they're doing with their bodies. And that includes sex and abortions. So that's what I want to talk about today, because I've been doing some reading and I've been seeing some startling things. And there are things that I didn't know necessarily, or maybe, I might have seen it and just looked right over it because it's not a priority. But we really need to make it a priority. We really need to be sharing this. Abortions are the number one killer of blacks. Period. In New York City alone, there were more abortions than there were births amongst black women. That is really disgusting. So here we are thinking, well, it's cops, it's each other, it's us, it's men, it's black men, it's abortions, because they're quietly done. Here I am on a website. I'm not going to put this business on blast. I don't have time for that. Like I mentioned, that's not what this platform is for. But it is a website, and it's for New York. I was born and raised in New York. So I'm looking at New York because that's just what I choose to focus on. It's a big country. So if every state kind of focuses on their state, we can kind of get this shit together, right? So I'm focusing on New York today. So please, by all means, look at what other states are doing. But I'm focusing on New York because I only have about an hour to talk about this. Okay? So there's a website that invites teenage abortions. No parental consent needed. This is the first line on their website. They have their phone number there. And it says teenage abortions, no parental consent needed. Hello, moms and dads. It is very easy for a young girl or any woman to get an abortion in New York. This is probably not the only place that girls can just walk in and do this. I believe that this is a booming ass business. It's probably not expensive. I haven't looked up the prices. I would like to, and I would like to touch on that a little bit, but I don't want to make it the main focus. But I'm pretty sure that parents will pay for their children to have abortions. It's a shot in the dark, but I'm almost positive that parents will do that. Okay, so according to Planned Parenthood, Ask the Experts, abortions nationwide, the cost at health centers ranges from about $350 to $950 for abortion in the first trimester. The cost is usually more for a second trimester abortion. Costs vary depending on how long you've been pregnant and where you go. And that was as of April 8, 2011. Another source says here, childrenbychoice.org. Childrenbychoice.org. Medication abortion through a GP has approximately cost of $350 to $580 up front. This is money for this people. This is a business. Women may then be eligible for a partial Medicare rebate for the consultations. The cost of the medication itself is extra to this, between $12 and $50 depending on whether you have a health care card. And let me tell you another thing. For most people, it feels like strong period cramps. Your doctors and nurses will help make your abortion as comfortable as possible. You'll get pain and numbing medications that will make it hurt less, and you may get sedation. You may have a little cramping after your abortion. Listen, people, it's not hard for your young girls to go out there and get an abortion behind your back. You got to wake up and smell the roses, honey. Wake up and smell the roses. I want to say something else, but I'm really trying to be not. I'm not beasting today. Okay, I'm trying my best to be a good host. But we have to. It's not hard. If you have a girl that works in high school, it's easy for her to make $350. Easy. She can make that in a couple of weeks and go do what she got to do. We got to talk to our kids. We got to start letting our kids know it's okay if it happens. This is what we could do together as a family. We got to stop scaring our kids into thinking sex is bad. Unprotected sex can be a bad decision, but they're not bad kids. We have to really open up the conversation for this. You know, there's again the debate that some women are raped, molested. These are situations I understand, but let's keep it fucking real. Okay? Let's keep it real. Those don't happen as much. On Guttmacher Institute, I believe I'm pronouncing that correct. I don't care. A teenager most often gives these reasons for having an abortion. You ready? She doesn't want her life changed by a baby. She can't afford a baby. She isn't mature enough to be a mother. And the website biasly says pregnancy interrupts your life, your educational plans, and your future earning potential. Teen motherhood often means that both you and your child will grow up poor. Teen mothers are significantly less likely to complete high school than their peers. Less than 2% of teen mothers who give birth before age 18 go on to earn a college degree by the time they turn 30. In comparison, teens who choose abortion are more successful in school and are more likely to graduate and pursue higher education. Let me go over one more line again that this website is selling their abortions. This is one of their sales tactics. Let me read this one more time. Teen motherhood often means that both you and your child will grow up poor. That is one of the most awful things I've ever heard in my life. Listen to me. It is 2019. These things don't fall suit in this year. I'm sorry. I highly disagree with this. I think this is manipulation. And this is teenage girls, you know how easy they are to prey on by guys in school, by adults. Hello? Our teenage girls, black, white, purple, blue, yellow, I don't care what color they are easy prey. And that is what I believe this is doing here. To tell a young girl that she's going to be poor is the most horrifying things you can tell a young girl because she's pregnant. That's the worst. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. And then they want to say, get to know the facts. You're less likely to finish high school, which is bullshit. You're more likely to rely on public assistance. So what? More likely to be poor as adults. Get an education, get a good job. And more likely to have children who have poorer educational, behavioral, and health outcomes over the course of their lives than do kids born to older parents. Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I'm sorry. Please don't take this as insensitivity, but this is just aggravating. It really is. There are colleges that have daycares. I've known people that have gone on job interviews with their child. Especially if it's a job where you work with other children, or I know a young male personally that went on a job interview with his baby daughter because he didn't have anybody to watch her. Listen to me. People need to come out of their pride. You know what I'm saying? Like, even an employer that judges someone who comes on a job interview with their child is wrong. There should be a place for this so that people are encouraged to keep their children alive. Let's look up what the fucking abortion is, okay? Let's look this up in case people forgot. You know what I think? I think that we hear the word so much that we forget what an abortion is. I think that we hear it so much, it just becomes a word with no meaning behind it. So let's put the meaning back behind it so that we could remind ourselves what this is, right? Abortion is the ending of a pregnancy by removal or expulsion of an embryo or fetus. Stop zhuzhing this shit up. Expulsion of a child that can survive outside the uterus. A living life, a living child. Let's expose and remove your living child out of your womb. We'll package you up and send you on your way with your medication. Have a good day. Thanks for the money. Termination of a pregnancy, induced miscarriage, by other names. Some countries use a drug, I cannot even pronounce it, but they're putting these drugs in your daughter's bodies, okay? This is a drug we can't even pronounce. We don't even know what the hell it is, most of us. We don't even care, right? Because we're letting our daughters go in there. This is for the moms that are letting your daughters go in there and do it. I'm not judging you. You can come for me. I don't care. Okay, but I'm just letting you know, if you let your daughter go into these places, this is what they're doing to your daughter. You should have some type of concern. You're signing things. You have to sign waivers when you go and do these things. This is a legal medical procedure. They're not gonna be like, oh, this is unsafe, people die from it. No, they're not gonna do that. They're gonna tell you the best things so that you go ahead and pay them. This is a business. Please understand this. It is a business before it is anything else. But more importantly, it's the number one killer of black people. There has been numerous reports that have been put out by the New York Times, by Wall Street Journal, by numbers and numbers of media outlets. I mean, the earliest one I saw was from 2014. So obviously this has been going on for a long time. I don't think it started in 2014. I think that it's been a long time. That might be the first article that I saw. But in New York City, thousands more black babies are aborted each year than born alive. Can we please have a moment of silence for these babies? Okay, this is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And here it says in an article at thepublicdiscourse.com, which is a very good article. Let me go ahead and credit the writer. His name is Arthur Goldberg. He wrote this in February of 2019. Thank you, Arthur, for your contribution to the black community. That we must share as black people. We can't just have these articles out and think that, oh, they're just going to get heard or read. We cannot assume that, because they're more than likely not. They get brushed under the rug like every other article, because something is coming out the next day that people don't really care about, but they want to read it anyway and not care about what they heard or read the day before. This is just life now, okay? So just, touching on this article because it's just really important. It says nationally, the Centers for Disease Control point out that nearly half of all pregnancies among black women end in abortion. One more time for you, those that did not hear that. Nearly half of all pregnancies among black women end in abortion. 472 per 1,000. Okay, please keep this in mind. While among white women, only 16% of pregnancies are aborted. 161 per 1,000. Why is this? Why? Why? I'm not going to answer that because I only have a goddamn hour, okay? I'm not really going to answer that. I need whoever's listening to think about it. And if you have girls in your household that are sexually active, talk to them, because babies come from sexual intercourse. Last time I checked, they don't come out of your ears. They come out of your parts where y'all have sex. Talk to your young girls, because it's terrible and it's sad. In New York City, where Planned Parenthood is headquartered, more black babies are aborted than are born alive. 1,180 abortions for every 1,000 live births. I mean, you do what you want with these numbers. People will say, "Oh, I don't know that to be true." Really? We don't? You know why people don't know it to be true? Because their daughters are sneaking around and doing it. It's okay to go to your parents. I know. Listen, I grew up. My mom was scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom was like, do not have sex, period. That doesn't work. Don't do it doesn't work. Why you shouldn't do it? Communicating with your children if they are doing it, because you can't control it. When you go to work and they go to school, they're going to do whatever they want. I'm here to tell you, we all know this. We all did it, right? Like, let's stop acting like this is some kind of secret. Like, when you go to school, you might be cutting school. You might be doing it in school. You're going to find somewhere to do it, in the car, movies. You know, when you're young, you do reckless ass shit. Let's not really act like we don't do that, because we're just lying to ourselves, and now we're lying to our young girl. Because they're lying to us, because we're lying to ourselves. Lies are contagious as fuck. It's ridiculous. You raised your daughters and you don't know if she's having sex or not. That's a problem. All you gotta do is ask her. If you know your kid, you know if they're lying to you. Most parents can pick this up. Don't tell me, oh, I can't tell she's in her room. That's bullshit. You're not trying to know, because maybe you don't want to know, because maybe you just think you're better off if you don't know. But the truth is, if she gets pregnant, she probably wouldn't have had an abortion, because obviously these people make it very easy for them to walk in without their parents' consent, under 18 to do it. You don't gotta be 18 to do it, and you don't need your parents' consent. For the people in the fucking back. Okay? Jason Riley was another journalist that covered this. And according to Riley, social scientists aren't sure why black attitudes toward abortion have changed. One theory is that as more blacks migrated out of the conservative Deep South and settled in other regions of the country with more liberal views on reproductive rights, their attitudes changed accordingly. Right. Anyway, another possibility is that people with higher incomes and more education tend to be pro-choice. Excuse me. And since the early 1970s, the socioeconomic status of blacks have increased dramatically. What fucking neighborhood do you live in? Increased dramatically? Okay. Maybe okay. If you say so. That's why blacks are okay with abortions, because they're making more money. Is this true, my people? Let me know in the comment section. Most liberals reject these explanations, countering that black women are more likely than women of other races to live in poverty. Thank you. Citing poverty as the driving factor, liberal advocates for abortion such as Guttmacher Institute, point to inadequate access to health care in the Black community as a consequence of its poverty and the cause of its high abortion rates. Wrong again. It starts at home. Talk to your children. For every Black woman who has a young Black girl, or even if you have a niece, if you have a cousin, a sister, she doesn't have to be your kid. Talk to them. This is a conversation that needs to be taking place because obviously abortions are the number one killers of Black people. It's killing more people than cops. Pro-life leaders in the Black community disagree, observing that the most dangerous place for an African American is in the damn womb. They argue that abortion, often referred to as population control, is the most institutionalized form of racism in America. Are we an endangered species, my people? Talk to your family. I mean, I understand. Listen, I know when you gotta work and you're not home, but you got a cell phone, goddammit. We have to do these things because we were kids at one time, and we understand that kids will go above and beyond to sneak around and do what they want to do because they don't understand the consequences that come behind that. They're too young to understand. It's up to us, their parents, to help them understand. Look, if you're having sex, listen, it's really not that hard. Wrap it up. This is for the women with young boys too. I'm sorry if I sound like I was targeting young girls. I apologize deeply. Wrap it up because it comes out of you. Okay? It comes out of you. It takes two, but it comes out of you. Copyright that. Anyway, this is ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. On what would say is a better note, some would say is a better note, Trump bans abortion referrals. Y'all know what a referral is, right? Go to the doctor. I need an abortion. Here's a referral. Go get an abortion. He's abandoning that. He's, banning that. He's banning that. Okay. Now, this may not be new news. I'm not sure when this news dropped, but it's effective as of now, Tuesday, July 16th. I don't know in what states, if this is just a national issue. Let me see here. Okay. Taxpayer-funded family planning clinics must stop referring women for abortions immediately, the Trump administration said Monday, declaring it will begin enforcing a new regulation hailed by religious conservatives and denounced by medical organizations and women's rights groups. All right, so somebody who wrote this feels a certain kind of way. And I'm reading this from apnews.com. Ahead of a planned conference Tuesday with the clinics, the Health and Human Services Department formally notified them that it will begin enforcing the ban on abortion referrals, along with a requirement that clinics maintain separate finances from facilities that provide abortions. Another requirement that both kinds of facilities cannot be under the same roof would take effect next year. Abortion is a legal medical procedure, but federal laws prohibit the use of taxpayer funds to pay for abortions, except in cases of rape, incest, or to save the life of the woman. That makes sense. Understand that not everybody who is raped or there is incest involved, which is very sad and unfortunate. That's a terrible thing for any woman to experience, but I would understand that if she was raped by, Joe Blow, she wouldn't want to have a baby. That was out of her control. I could understand it. There's an understanding there. It's not just Me and my boyfriend were fucking around after school, and we decided not to use protection, and oops, now I don't want it. There's a huge difference. This is what birth control is for. It's not like we live in a world without birth control. My God, like, it's not like we live without birth control is accessible to everybody. If you can get an abortion without your parents' consent and behind their backs, and you're under 18, you could be 14 and walk in that mother and get a damn abortion. Do you hear me? Can you hear me? 14. That's a baby. You should know what your 14-year-old is doing. It's not about the government. It's not about family, Planned Parenthood. It's not about any of those things. It's about what's going on in your house. You have control over what's going on in your house. Take control of what's going over in your damn house, people. Turn off the TV and turn on the conversations. Gosh. I'm trying not to have an hour podcast today. I'm tired. I want to talk about other things. Okay. Polls show most Americans do not want the Supreme Court to overturn Roe versus Wade, the 1973 ruling that legalized abortion. Polls show most Americans do not want the Supreme Court to rule out legalized abortion. There we go. I mean, I don't know what poll that was. It doesn't say what poll it was. It says polls. That's a general word. So we need specifics here at Black Trending News. I don't know about that. I mean, what do you think about that? You let me know. Do you think that most Americans are happy with legalized abortion? Who in your neighborhood where you live, in your home, use protection, people. It's really not that damn hard. Yes, birth can still happen when you use protection, but the chances are so slim. They're so slim that these numbers should be damn near none. These numbers shouldn't even exist. It's ridiculous that these numbers exist. It means that people are not talking to their kids about protection. That's what it means. There's no hiding this shit. There's no shadows. It's all out there. These numbers show that people are not talking to their kids about. And you know something? I'm going to wrap this up. It's been 30 minutes. We need to be very conscious of the material that is on the internet. It's very, very out there. I know all your kids got phones. My kid has had a phone for years. But it's monitored heavily. We need to heavily monitor the phone. And if you're the type of parent that's going to tell your daughter not to do it, you're crazy if you think that she's not doing it. Because if you're not having the correct conversations with her or him, then they are going to do it. And guess what? If you're a scary parent, like my parent was scary. My mother was scary. Okay? But not scary enough for me not to have sex. I still had sex. Like, come on. Mom, I hope you're not listening to this. But I'm grown now. So that's already a done deal. But as scary as my mom was, I still found ways to do it. And that's what I want parents to understand. So parents, if your kid's in high school, you have a big responsibility on your shoulders to make sure that you are monitoring what your kids are doing as much as you can. And if they are having sex, to talk to them about protection, because they're gonna have sex. Talk to them about protection constantly. Buy them condoms. Make sure they're using it. Hound them about it. Have a good day, my people. Bye-bye. Have a good day.